right, guys. Guys, I don't really feel good today, so I don't know how. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We're just playing around. So, as you can see, what we've done to our canvas prior to me turning on the camera, right? I took Bob Ross liquid clear, put it all over the canvas. Then we put crimson and blue across the entire thing in different areas. And now we're just gonna paint with mainly just white paint and watch all these gorgeous things appear. So, probably gonna use just Phthalo blue, Alizarin crimson, midnight black, and titanium white. All we need to do. Now let's take our fan brush just like that, and then go through the white just like this, and then we're gonna just rock it down some giant Aurora Borealises. Aurora Boreali, I think that's what they're called when you do two of them. So let's come in here with the white like that, and you gotta make that big noises and just go, come straight through there. Look at that. Oh, all those colors that are gonna shine through, it's gonna be fantastic. Look at all that extra paint. Look at the side that we used, right? Let's come in here a little bit higher. I'm flying down through there. Oh, it's just gonna be so fantastic. Now we need to go get a little bit more paint onto the brush. Gotta get it onto the brush. Otherwise it's gonna be all contaminated and won't be as bright as we want it to be, and you gotta have it be nice and bright and white. So let's get that bit right there onto the brush. A little bit more. See, we'll come down with one more guy. Maybe he goes off, comes flying in from the side over there, right? They don't all have to be the same. Now let's take them over here. Just gonna start adding little bits of extra paint. And so you might need to go in, grab up a little bit of extra, come in and dump it down wherever you want to have a bit kind of shine up a little bit more. Plop some extra paint in there. Trust me. It looks a little silly when you first start doing it, but I'm telling you, the more you do it, the more you're gonna love it. Trust in me. Watch this, guys. It's gonna be very, very, very cool. Do a couple more little bits right here on the top. Bing, bang, boom. Right in there. Right? Because some of the times the amount of paint that's on our brush is not enough as we go down and swipe through. So you need to add those little extra bits. Now, just give me 1 second and I'll show you the coolest thing you've ever seen. Just literally the coolest thing you've ever seen. We're gonna take our 2-inch brush. Make sure it's nice and dry and color-free. A little 2-inch brush, just like that. This guy needs a haircut. Look at him. Ah, it's like too strong. I can't grip it strong enough to rip it off. It's not like long enough. Yeah, it doesn't work. So he's just gonna look all shabby. Now we're gonna take this guy like this, and with our amount of what, guys? We talk about the 3 P's of Paint with Josh all the time. Our P1 is paint, right? The amount of paint that we put on the canvas. And our P2 is the amount of what? Does anybody know? I'll give you a shout out real quick if you know. Let's see, it'll be pressure. Adam Coleman knows pressure. I'll give you a follow over there. So, with the amount of pressure that we push, watch this. Streak it straight up, right? And if you have those little extra bits, you get those little extra things. So neat. Just pull it up. Same amount of pressure throughout the entire thing. And look, as we come across all these different colors, it starts to change. Right? Come up here, we're gonna match the brush along the edge of that little guy. And just pull it up, just like that. Streak it down. Doesn't have to be the same on the top or the bottom. I like leaving a little bit of darkness. At least you don't have to go all the way up, right? Now, right through here, since we've got all the paint on the brush and we're gonna streak through both these areas, let's keep the brush flat and go just right up through both of them, right? Bang, bang. How much pressure are you pushing? They drag all these guys upwards, right? You get to decide. Them fly up like that. Really cool. Just like so. Take the guys on the top just a little bit down, and that way they're not a perfect thing, right? You get that little bit of pull down, and just like that, you got some really cool little pinky clouds out there, little auroras out there anyway. Little pinky auroras. Look gorgeous. Now, as we pull these guys down here, and you start mixing it up with any amount of paint or pressure or that white that got onto our brush is gonna show down here. It's gonna look really cool. So, if you want it to be a little bit brighter, why don't we get a little bit more of our white paint, and we'll just add a little bit, and we're gonna crisscross. All we're trying to do is brighten up the color of the sky, that's all. Just brighten it up right underneath, so we have that little bit of kind of foggy mistiness underneath. Now we're gonna go chuck just a giant mountain in. It's gonna be awesome. Gonna be awesome. So, we're gonna be able to name this painting. If you've never seen a Paint with Josh show, and this is your very first Paint with Josh show you've ever seen, we're gonna be able to name this painting. So start coming up with a name and type it into the comments once we get towards the end of the stream. And maybe we might choose your name for this painting, right? Looks really cool, guys. Ah, that's neat. That is just neat, if you ask me. Just neat. Woo! Okay, now we're going to be able to name the painting, and we're going to be able to, this painting's available for sale. So if you wanted to buy this painting, you could go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com and search for number 863. That's this painting right here. It's 40% off its normal price, which brings it down to my favorite number, $420. Let's take it up here. We're going to spray out these stars. Just pop, 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 pop. Anywhere you can get them to come out. This whole galaxy filled with stars in just a few seconds, really. You don't have to put too many. You don't want to have too much paint on your brush. You'll fling it out too thick, just like that. It looks really cool, guys. Really cool already. So, if you're just joining us and you haven't been paying attention, we initially took the canvas, we covered it all in Bob Ross Liquid Clear. It's a clear blending oil medium, right? Then we took all the crimson and the blue, mushed it, both those colors, mushed them all the way across the canvas everywhere. And now we're just painting with white, and we're watching all of these colors appear where they're going to appear, right? So the only other time that we're not going to paint with white is when we're making up our mountain. So let's make up a mountain with some red, some black, some crimson, and some blue, just like this. I'm going to mix them up, boom, just like that. All those nasty colors. But you want to mix it so much that you can't tell what colors you use to make it, right? It's got to be this very dark, 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 purpley black mixture. It looks black, but if you start to light it up with white, it's actually really, really dark purple. So just like that, mix it up all nastily, wipe off our knife, and then let's come in and let's decide, maybe way out here, scraping up a whole big bunch of it, and that way we can dump it off and just start dropping this ginormous mountain. Ooh, it comes right through everything. Sometimes you got to get rid of your most favoritist parts of your entire aurora just to have that mystery about what's behind the mountain. It adds all that depth. Look at that. Whew, scrape these guys down through there. Just pulling that bit of mountain down, just dumping on some color. All we got to do, right? And then we're take our brush and gonna mush it outwards and just shape however we want it to look. It's gonna look really cool. It'll look really cool if you ask me. Now, we always talk about the 3 P's of Paint with Josh, right? So if you're just joining us, the amount of paint is the first P, right? The amount of paint. How much are we loading into the brush, or how much is already on the canvas that we're gonna have to move with our second P, which is what, guys? Does anybody know that second P? I'll give you a shout out in the comments if you know the second P. Let's see, anybody. Pressure JB Trujillo can give you a follow right there. Excellent. Everybody over watching on YouTube, make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. And the more thumbs up we have, the more it's going to show it to more people. I'm going to add a little bit of white to the paint just to show you guys that little bit of color as it come down, right? Now, all depends on how you pull your mountain. Not every mountain is just all one way, right? Some of the times, guess what? It's just a jumbled up pile of rocks all stacked on top of each other. So we pull it down any which direction you want to pull it down. That gives it depth, right? Gives it more 3D-ness. Now come over here, you're going to start to slide this guy down. Slide him off that way, just based off our pressure. Look, we can pull that guy all the way off the canvas and cover the entire thing. Or we can pull it down just like this. See how I did that just like a clock? Imagining the center was a clock here, so we went like this, and that, and that, and that, and that, and that. Imagining our little point, our pivot point would be right in the center of the mountain. That way you can keep it more 3D, and you want it to have that little foggy, misty look out there on the bottom. That's very cool. Now we're going to come in and make up a little bit of our shadowy color. So we're going to take our blue and the white and mix it up over here. See this gorgeous bit. And remember, you got to mix it all the way down to the base of the palette, because that's where the white likes to hide. So you have this big white streak in there that you weren't expecting, right? So, little sky blue color. We'll take a little of that dark purpley mix. We're going to mix that up into that sky blue color. It sort of changes it to like a darkish, bluish, grayish mixture, just like that, right? Now we're going to scrape through that whole bit, taking that little line, a little roll, I guess you can call it. We'll come up here, just on the back side of our mountain, and very lightly, by touching and moving quickly, you drop off all those little things and it breaks automatically for you, right? If you try to do it slowly, that's when you start having issues. Or if you're pushing too hard on your canvas, right, then it's not really gonna shine the way that you want it to. So, get a little bit of our paint out there, have a little bit of our extra shadow back in here, maybe we'll have a little piece of light just coming around the edge, right? And it all depends. Maybe back on the side of this guy, you had a little thing sneaking its way down. Who knows? We'll find out when we get there, right? We will find out by the time we get down there. Take our snow all the way off the side. Very cool. Now let's mix up a bit of our actual snow color. So we'll get a bit of white and just a bit of that blue color that we had mixed up. I used every bit of it, so that's why I'm trying to scrape through as much as I can. And that way it's not a perfectly white color. It's gonna have this off-white tone of just very, 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 very light blue, right? But when we put it up against our dark mountain, it's gonna look pure white. But actually against the pure white, you'll be able to tell it's not really pure white, it's actually blue. So we're gonna come up here and we're gonna go like this. Start dropping it down. Look, I'm almost barely just holding the knife so lightly, right? It's about to fall out of my hand. And the more and more you go over things, the more you're gonna mix up those little breaks. You're gonna mush over them. They're not gonna look as cool, right? Come out here. Maybe this guy decided to come out just a little bit further over the peak. So we turn it over that way, right? Instead of coming straight down, turn it over. Give it that little bit, right? Come up here. Drop them out. Leave those little bits of shadow in there, though. You don't want to get rid of everything, right? Slide it down. So like that little section, don't cover that in. Leave it there. Leave it there, man. Nobody wants to see it all covered in. Maybe we come up over our shadows on this part. Start sliding it down. How long do you want your mountain to be? Totally up to you. Maybe we had just a little kiss of light right up there. Didn't make its way all the way down, right? We could fill all the rest of that in with some blues and stuff. Or slide it down like that. You get your whole little mountain ridge coming in, right? Very neat, guys, if you ask me. Very light pressure. Very light pressure, though. You don't want to be scraping on the canvas too hard. And if you can hear that, you know you're out of paint, right? There's no more. We don't have any more mix. We have no more mixed up. So that's going to be about the end of our mountain right there. Maybe turn the knife over. Maybe there's a little bit. There's always a little on the back. There we go. Just like that, guys. Now, all you really need to do is take our 2-inch brush, right? And if you don't think 2 inches is big, ladies, put that sucker up against your face. That's a pretty big brush, okay? That's a pretty big brush. So we're going to come in here like that. We're going to start to swipe it up very lightly, okay? This is where our third P comes in all the time, and our third P is practice. You have to have practice. How can you expect to be good at it on your very first go, right? Are you going to be the best person ever on your very first go? It's going to come out perfectly? Because if it does, I want to come learn from you. Sign me up for a class. Speaking of classes, I do teach in-person classes and virtual classes online. They're in my Etsy store. Go find them, paintwithjosh.etsy.com. All right, we're going to come in here very light pressure. And I've had lots of practice at how much pressure it takes to come all the way up this mountain. You don't have to come all the way up. I'm all the way up. What's that song? Bailey, what's that song? I'm all the way up. Isn't that how it goes? She's not listening to me. She's in the other room, but she's not listening to me. So you don't have to go all the way to the top. Especially, I do not recommend the beginners go all the way up to the top. It's a lot of practice it takes to touch that paint and not have it smush, right? Because it's very thick up there. It's not a very thin paint. It's got to be thick in order to get those little breaks and different things, right? So a lot of practice it takes to go up there and touch it. But just by very lightly coming up at the base, right? You can do the base. Everybody can do the base, right? You get that little bit of softness out there. And what you can then do is if it's not foggy enough or misty enough, all right, let's come in, let's get a bit of white onto our brush, just a little bit though. That's probably way too much, but we're gonna come up here. Look at how much paint just a little bit can be, right? If you dab it into your brush into there, and then we're gonna go back and make some very cool little misty clouds out of it. It's gonna be awesome, right? Looks like trees or some sort of nastiness out there. Somebody gave me crap on, I think it was on Facebook, they commented and they were like, Bob Ross would never use the adjective nasty. And I was like, I'm not Bob Ross. I don't know what to tell you. I use the nasty. I like it. Nasty, good. You know what I mean? Like it's like, that's bad, but it's good. You know what I mean? Like it's bad, but it's good. It's nasty. I like it. I like it. We're going to come up in here. We're going to start to tap. Just like that. We're going to bring it down, bring it up, bring it down, right? Come up at different levels. You can start to drag different bits of color down towards wherever we're going, right? Now on this side, let's go this way. We're going to come here when we go over that side. Now on the blue side, we're going to come this way. We're going to start tapping just with the corner of the brush, right? You're just tapping and tapping and tapping. And then you can get up here above the edge of the horizon. All it's doing is making this little misty fog by mixing. Every time it goes in, it's mixing with those undercolors each time. So we put the crimson and the blue and everything underneath, all the colors of the mountain, all mixing together every time we smash on it like that. So then we can take our brush, come in very softly, little circles, right? Little soft little circles is all we need. And then boom, you got your whole little thing Nice little floating mountain way out there in the mist, right? Man, what would you name this painting? If this was your painting, if you were about to paint this, or if you were going to buy this painting, what would you name it? Let me know in the comments below. And you got no idea what's coming next, you guys. No idea. Maybe you do if you watched the show last night, because we're going to redo that one. So, we're going to come in with the most gigantic seascape of a wave you've ever seen. It's going to be awesome. Right after we beat the devil out a couple of these brushes. So we got to go clean the brushes off, and then we're going to be back. Don't you go anywhere. All right, go to the kitchen, grab a drink, come back. But take me with you. You're on your phone anyway. I know you're like this. You're watching, but you're walking through the mall. You're going like this. Watching Paint with Josh videos. I know it. It's okay. I do it too. I do it too. All right, now, let's come back in. We're going to grab up a fan brush, and we're going to get a bunch of white onto our brush, right? We got all this color out here and all this mistiness. So at the base of that mistiness, we're going to start putting in our water, right? Just with a fan brush, just like this, a little bit. Doesn't need to be a whole lot because you can always add more. You can never what? What do I always say, guys? The first person that says it gets a follow. You can always add more. You can never what? Take it away. Suki tip right there. I'm going to pin your comment. Oh, couldn't pin it because you got a private profile, man. Don't answer questions. If you don't want to get follows, don't answer questions because I only pin one comment. And now that's a wasted chance for someone else to get follows. So let's come in here and get the white just like that. We're going to decide. Maybe we got our water way back in here, right? Just start to pull sideways. Just very lightly sideways, just like that. Shoo, 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 shoo. Pulling it to the edge, right? Over here. Start to make it a little bit bigger. So it's a little thicker on the one side, a little thinner on the other side, like a weird little triangle. What's that triangle? An obtuse, right? Is it obtuse? Or is it just a right triangle? 90 degrees long, back that way, right? A little bit of a shape, that's all you need. Now we're going to take our brush, and we're going to start to make it a little bit softer, right? Nice, clean, dry brush. Start to push it with our pressure. We get to decide when it starts to look like water to us and when you want to leave it, right? Or if you want to keep mixing it and mixing it and mixing it, you're going to lose all of the little streaks and all the little differences. And that's exactly what you want. A little bit of brightness, a little bit of darkness, a little bit of gray, a little bit of bright, a little bit of dark, a little bit of, it's all these little things you could imagine are waves out there, right? And like I said, always load the brush a very small amount because no matter how much you load it, even all the way up to the squeezy bit up here, right? You can even load it all the way up to that piece, but we're only using the top of the bristles. It's like 1/16 of an inch. So if you're ever going, man, paint, I go through so much paint and I don't know why, I'm always going through paint. You're probably loading it too much, right? So don't have to overload it. I like to show you guys that we're really only using about that much of the brush no matter when you load it. You're only using the tips of the bristles, just the tip. Just the tip. All right, let's come over here. And we need to sort of accentuate that bit of wave right there, but we're going to switch to a smaller brush, right? If we switch to a smaller fan brush, we feel like we have more control over the bit of line. So we're going to come in here with the same bit of white, just like that, into the brush. Not all the way up to the squeezy bit, right? Just about a little bit, like a 1/4 inch up into the brush. So now we're going to make a little mustache, just like the Monopoly man, just like your grandpa. My grandpa's got one. Yeah. It's like a little spindly mustache, right? So, and you're like, what are you talking about, mustache? Or I thought we were going to paint some waves. Well, waves to me, remember like when we did when we were kids? They got that little like peak, and it goes down to the next peak, and the next peak. Looks like a mustache, watch. And come down, up, and then down again, right? It's our little mustachy peak. Now this bit, we're going to blend back into here, and then start pulling backwards this way, right? Not going to go all the way to the peak. Don't have to go all the way to the peak. Stay back here. But look at those little differences in the brightness and the darkness. Don't kill everything. Keep it like that, right? Let them show those differences. Going to pull back from the peak on this side, sliding it back, right? Blending it in, little bits. Doesn't have to go all the way up. Doesn't have to touch. Doesn't have to do anything. But you want it to be different. A little brighter over here, a little darker over there, a little brighter back there, a little darker in the middle. All different, right? It doesn't have to be the same. Ever. Never has to be the same. So let's come in here. We're going to wash that brush off. We're going to switch back to the big old monster brush. Hey, Bailey. How much do you love me? Do you love me a lot?
Yes.
Like enough to go get me a drink because I totally forgot one? I'm so sorry. Don't look at me like that. I'm so sorry. I wish I could show you guys her face. She's like, oh, Dad,
I
for
literally-
real.
I was just downstairs.
No, I'm so sorry. Can you
Waiting
give
for
me
you to call me to get you a drink.
Can you give me a Mountain Dew with some ice, please? That would be awesome of you. You'd be such a gorgeous little daughter if you could.
I'm
Just
not
a
already.
full. You. Oh, of course you are already. But you would be more. Can you just go get me a Mountain Dew, please? I won't be able to speak anymore if my mouth goes so dry that I can't talk. Okay, we're gonna take our bit of our white onto our brush. All right, we're gonna come up here. We've got to make another mustache shape, but a much bigger one and a much more funky one. You know what I thought it looked like? I figured. Remember that? It's like a bracket. It's not a parentheses, but it's like that weird parentheses that has that point in the middle of it. You know what I mean? It's like it comes down and out. I'll show you because we're sort of. I'll even show you right here. Say we came up. We're gonna go down like this. We're just gonna sort of stencil it in. So we're not really touching it too hard. It's gonna show you where we're gonna go. So then we're gonna come down over here. And that's gonna be our little thing. Then we're gonna hit there, and then probably gonna come down. Right? If we came down that way, and then around that way, got the backside over there. You could do lots of stuff. You can come down over here, right? Do so many cool little things. But the point is, you can have this whoop, and then a whoop back that way, right? You get that little point. This is gonna be our pivot point over here, right? So if you're wondering, what the heck is he doing? I'm gonna show you right now, right? We've got our bit where our wave's gonna crash over, so we'll do that in a little bit. We've got our little section of our wave. It's gonna be nice and red on the top. Oh, that's gonna be gorgeous. We're gonna eventually line up with a little bit right here. We're gonna line up with a line right there, and we're gonna hit this line right here. That's why we call this our pivot point, right? Now remember that term, pivot point, because I'm gonna ask you for it when we come back over here, okay? And the first person that tells me is gonna get a follow when we come back over there. Now we're gonna take the same brush with the same small amount of paint. I'm just gonna start to flick. Oh, Bailey, you're so oh no, I need it with ice.
You don't have any ice.
No, there's ice in the bag in the bottom of the freezer. Yeah. No, I can't because it's not cold because the fridge has been broken.
It is cold.
Please, just give me some ice, please. I need the ice. I love you so much.
It is cold. Feel
It's
it.
not though. I just need the ice, please. Can you just get me the ice? Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna come in here with our brush. I'm gonna start to flick it backwards, just like that. And we're not gonna go back and touch the next little piece of color. If you go back and touch that next piece of color, then you've lost all your shadow and your depth and your dark separation, right? Which is another term we're gonna start talking about. The dark separator. So I'm grabbing onto my line. We're coming back here. Little flicks. They're not straight up. They're not, crazy smiley faces. Just sort of a little angle until what I say. We're going to come back and hit that little point. Now, this is where we start to pivot. So we're going to come back to the same spot and go out like that. Right? However you want your wave to look, that's how it's going to be. This is the next little section that's going to come down. It's going to start to change into a blue face of the wave. Oh, that's going to be so pretty. And now this is where you start to fill in those little bits. Right? Take those little things, just a little bit of paint though, because you can always go back and change it. You can always go back and add more. You can never take it away, right? Like we said before. So imagine our mustache being out here and this little guy out there. So imagine we had one bit of right here. We need the other side off the other way. So if we came up like this, you go back down like this. Right? Maintaining our little dark separation in between. That's exactly what you want to have. Don't get rid of that thing. Okay? And then eventually we'll start to come down here. We'll do all sorts of stuff. This wave's going to get all crazy. Thank you, my love. Oh! Woo! About dropped it. Thank you. Love you, Dee. Oh, she's so sweet, guys. Oh, this is going to be so good. My mouth is literally so dry right now. Sorry, I just have to take a quick break. You guys tell me where you're watching from. What's your favorite sandwich? And I'll give you some shout-outs as I take a little break over here. We got Australia, the Red Solo Cup, Florida with a BLT, Ohio with a BLT, Minnesota, oh man, North Carolina. We got lots of people from watching from the same places. Man, that's good. Love you, Bailey. I appreciate you. You're the best daughter ever. Okay, what were we doing again? Oh, we had a brush in our hand back here, right? So, back to our pivot point, which I'm going to ask you about later. Right? We're going to take it out, stretch it, back, back, back. Now, we're going to follow these guys back along the opposite way to here. So, whichever way you come up, we're going to go down the other way. Right? Which may mean you need to change the angle a little bit. And then poof, we're going to have this awesome wave that's going to come out the front of the canvas and it's going to crash off the side of the canvas at the same time. Now look at all that color. It's just nasty, right? Now we're gonna go wash that brush off. Get all that grossness out of there so we can have some nice pure white. And that way the white will interact with all the colors underneath the canvas. That's the way that we're gonna do it, right? So, I'm gonna come in here, loading up the white just a little bit more. Onto the brush. Gonna have it a little thicker this time because we're gonna make that crashy bit of our water back here, right? So, initially we'd have to do that. Let's make a little bit of our eye. I'm gonna put the eye in. Just a little smush of white paint is all you need. Now we talked about the dark separators, right? And if you weren't here before, let me tell you what I mean. So we've got our bright area, right? And there's a little darkness before we reach our next bright area. A little darkness before we reach the next bright area. A little darkness before we reach the next bright area. Darkness, bright, darkness, bright. Over and over and over and over again. That's how it's got to be throughout the entire painting, right? It's a play of light and dark. So you go from your light areas to your dark areas and you pop in a new little section of brightness, right? Now, so we're going to take our paint like this. We've already put our little bit of our eye up there. So come back, grab your 1-inch brush, and very lightly, this thing's going to want to move like crazy. Look at how far you can start to stretch it, right? Just a little bit, because we can always go back and add more paint. I'm just trying to get it up as close as we can get it to the next bit of color, just pushing it up there. Ooh, just the littlest bit. Don't get rid of that dark separation, right? Then we'll go add a little bit more paint. Just doesn't even matter. Wherever you want to put it, seriously, it doesn't matter. Just like that. We're gonna want it to grow down, but we don't want it to grow too far, right? So, a little bit of brightness in the eye. Looks like an eyeball in there. Taking our white paint like this, coming up on the edge, right where we were, right? And we're gonna start to rotate over and down. Over and down, over and down, over and down. You see my brush handle over here, right? I'm not just like a robot. Doesn't have any motion. I'm rotating it just with my fingers, rolling it over. Right? The further we go, the bigger it's going to be. Now, I'm going to rotate the brush again, flip it, so now you can see all that red and crimson from the one side. Now we've got our fresh white side against the canvas. I'm going to touch over here at a different angle. If my brush was at the same, if my handle was over here at the same way, it's going to look the same, which we don't want, right? We want to take that guy, pull him over here, and then go out to the side, like that, right? And that way, you can fling it out and start to come back to what? What is that one little piece called, guys? That one point that we talk about. Does anybody know? Crazy talented. Oh, stop it. Pivot point, says Jordan. Jordan, you're going to get the, I hope you, oh my God, guys, you can't even pin. All right, there we go. This guy, I don't even know what your name is or what, because it doesn't say. But there you go. I'm going to give you a follow. Bob13.pmx, I guess is the name. So we'll give you a follow and we'll pin your comment up there because you remembered pivot point, right? Now, I'm going to take our brush, come back to the same pivot point, and then go a little bit lower, and then a little bit lower, and a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. See what kind of a little shape we're starting to make for our waves right here? All right, does anybody know what that little shape looks like? Look like anything to you? It starts to look like one to me. Because I just love you so much, right? Looks like a little heart, doesn't it? Looks like a little heart. Very cool. So, we're going to take our little bit of paint onto the brush again, a little bit more paint, and then we're going to come back up here. Dump off a little bit extra brightness, right? Wash our brush off. Try to get as much as we can. There we go. Come off the brush like that. There we go. A little bit brighter on the top, and then it's going to get darker and darker and darker and darker as it goes outward, right? Very cool. Now we got to come in with our crashy bits. We got to do a whole lot of stuff with the brush. So let's get the one little piece of highlight we can get on there. And then we'll be rocking and rolling. A little bit more of our white paint. Right? Same amount on the brush, same brush. Okay? Then we're going to come in there. A little bit of white on the top. A little bit of white up there. There we go. Just touch it and then pull the brush away so it doesn't drag it with it. Right? You got to have those little bits, those little things, those little differences. Little differences in color is what I like to call them. But I never went to art school. I've never been to a single art class. I don't know color theory. I just like to sit up here and show you guys how to paint. It's literally all we do. Sit up here and show you guys how to do it. So, hope you like that. I hope you give me a follow. And I hope I teach you something that you didn't know during today's show. Now, we're going to take this little bit of our brush. We're going to decide where we're going to land, maybe about an inch below. We're going to start going side to side, right? Side to side. Then all of a sudden, look at that. We're starting to line up with our little guys already. So we're going to start to change the angle so we can match up with our little bit of wave as it comes over there, right? Just as easy as pie. Now we've got our brush like that. We're gonna start to come back in here and make little things. You gotta go back before you make that curl, right? It's almost like you're doing a circle. Don't make your circle too small. Then we come back and we get a little bit longer. We push a little bit harder, dumping off a little bit more paint off of the brush onto the canvas. But look at that. Now you got that little rolling action in there. Just fantastic. We're gonna take our brush, adding a little bit more paint, helping it blend away, pushing it this way, pushing it that way. And then what do you say? Why don't we go up and actually make all this water look like water, right? How about we do that? Let's go do that, Josh. And all we're gonna do is just soften it down with our 1-inch brush, right? The Bob Ross 1-inch landscape brush or the blender brush or whatever the crap it is. It's the 1-inch brush, just like that. It's gonna wanna make our paint grow though. And see how it's softening it, just making it all velvety? Just soft like that. Woof! Look at that thing over there, right? We're gonna start to pull it out here. All depends on our pressure, which way you're going, right? You start to pull inwards towards the wave that way, right? Dragging that color up, softening it down, shrinking our little dark separator, right? This guy, we can come up in here, but we're not just pulling it straight down. We're not just pulling it at an angle, right? We're following those lines that we had created all the way up. And we're gonna start to go from the bottom, and that way we don't leave a big fat brush mark right up there at the top, right? And again, going through, make sure it's round, make sure it's soft, coming out here. And literally with one hand tied behind my back the whole time. I literally had a hand, but I don't know, I'm standing like a grandma stands. I'm standing like a Yenta in New York. Oh my God, look at that painting he's painting over there. Do you guys see it? Oh my God, I don't know why I'm standing like that, but I literally did it with one hand behind my back. You don't have to have even two hands to be able to do this. Oh man, just like that, bingo, right? Got our cool little things, then we can go make it a little bit brighter in places, and we've at least got our initial shape of what we want it to look like. Very cool, guys. Very cool. All right, let's see. We need to wash off our little brush here. Do it with a fan brush. I mean, you could do it with any brush, really, but I like doing it with a fan brush. It just helps keep it sort of uniform, and it's easier for people to mess around with this brush than the bigger brushes, right? You get intimidated by those big brushes. So, come in here with our white, and whatever color we have underneath our canvas is gonna light up, just like it's been doing. See what I mean? We didn't add any color to the brush when we did this pink bit, or when we did the blue bit, or when it turned pink again down here. That was all previously on the canvas, just like how they came out up there, right? Now, let's come into here, and we'll decide, underneath, about a 1/4 inch underneath all of that color, you wanna leave that dark separator, right? Look, it's even connected all the way around there. It makes a whole big long thing around the entire wave, right? Dropping a lot of paint, though. You're gonna dump it off, push it real hard. Get all the paint on there, bend the bristles. Look at how nastily the brush comes out. It's just the color almost up as far as you could get, you know what I mean? So, shake it off, clean it off into the bucket, beat the devil out of it, beat it off, and then we're going to come back over here, and I'm going to ask you guys 2 questions. If you've seen a Paint with Josh show before, you know the answer to both of these questions, and you might get a follow, or I might be able to pin your comment. So, we have to do 2 things right here, guys, right? First, somebody has to buy this painting. No, I'm just kidding. But you can. You can go to paintwithjosh.etsy.com, search for 863, okay? Now, we have to do 2 things. We have to push down, and we have to go side to side. So, when we're pushing down, do we use a very little amount of pressure, or do we use a lot of pressure? You guys tell me. Little, lot. Little, lot. And I'm going to answer whoever's saying it out loud. Whoever can see, I'm going to give you some things. Let's see. Chrissy says a lot. Lexus Skeller says a little. The Almighty Cakem says a little. Hard pressure, a lot. We got Virginia says a lot. Let's see. Holy crap, we just got a sale. What was that? What was that sale? Oh, you're kidding me. Did she? Are you for real? Cosmic Lighthouse. My goodness, she just bought this painting. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Cosmic Lighthouse, you little stinker, you. Okay, we got lots of people that are saying both things. So I'm going to show you both ways, okay? Now, we're going to come in here like this. I love Cosmic Lighthouse. She's so sweet. We're going to come in here like this, and we're going to go with very little pressure, because a lot of people said little bit. So we're going to show you. Very small amount of pressure, right? Just like that. And then with the same amount of pressure, we got to pull to the side. So let's pull it to the side, okay? Yeah, right. Now, would you leave your sand looking like that? If you were one of those people that just said a little bit of pressure, would you leave your sand looking just like this? No, Major Nerd says no, he wouldn't, right? Apple bottom waves, I like that. Cosmic Lighthouse. Rachel says no, Ray says no. Right? A lot of people are saying no, they would not leave their sand looking just like this, and I wouldn't either. So let's try the opposite of little pressure, and we'll go a lot of pressure, right? So we'll take it, we'll really bend the bristles down. We're pushing it down, getting the easel dirty. It's coming all the way off of the canvas even, right? Lot of pressure, lot of pressure, lot of pressure, lot of pressure, 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 right? A lot of it. Now, don't get me wrong. This looks like that, doesn't it? If we were to flip the canvas upside down, it'd be like, sweet auroras, bro. I'd be like, I know, those are dope, I agree, but now we have to swipe them side to side. So here's question 2, okay? Now, do we swipe it away from the wave first, or do we push it towards the wave first? We have to do both, so tell me, towards or away? Towards or away? Which one do you think we have to do first? You guys tell me in the comments. And if you're watching over on YouTube, make sure you give me a thumbs up over there. We got Junkyard says away over on YouTube. Miss Nomad says towards on YouTube. Good, I'm going to show you guys both. Let's see. We got Danny says both. Of course, both. Here we go. Towards says Janelle. Towards says Casey. Towards says Ginger. Away says BB. Away then towards. Towards says Christine. Towards says Ron. Away says Jobless. Away says Saint. Right, so I'm going to show you guys both. Right? Actually, we're not. I'm not going to show you guys both. Let's think about it real hard, right? So let's say we've got our color over here, right? And our color over here from our beach. Now, if we were to push it towards first, don't you think those two colors are going to blend together into the same color? And we're going to lose that bit of separation in between, right? So what if we did instead, pulled it away from the wave first, the same amount of hard pressure, pulling it away, right? Swiping it away, just like that. Nice and softly, right? Well, nice and hard anyway. A lot of pressure. Pulling it away like that becomes nice and soft looking sand. With our dark separator, it's about 1 inch tall. And we don't need it to be that big. So now this is when we push it towards the wave, right? So we can take that color just like a sequin pillow. Look at this. Slide it all the way up. Right up to the last little bit of our dark separator, right? And then all of a sudden, now our wave looks like it's got some lift and it can float across that sand just back and forth, right? Very cool. Now, in the midst of doing that pushing, you may have made it a little bit darker in your sand right here, which is okay. We're going to take a little bit of brightness. Again, about 1/4 inch underneath. Make it a little bit brighter. Bang, 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 right? Now, a lot of pressure. Pulling it to the side. Get that little bit of extra glare on your sand like that. Looks awesome. Sliding it back. About as short as you could possibly make it. All up to you guys, what you want it to look like, right? Very cool. Got this wet little bit of sand out there. Freaking awesome. Looks so soft too. Okay, now we gotta come in with our last bit. The last section is our big old crashing watery section. I can't believe Cosmic Lighthouse bought this one, and she got the other one that's very similar to this one a couple days ago. So we're gonna come in with the thick, chunky paint right there. Right, we've been talking about the dark separator along the whole bit of wave, right? Throughout this whole canvas, dark separation. So let's stick into here, right along that dark separator. We're gonna start to tremble. We're gonna tap. We're gonna tap, 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 up into the white, right? You gotta go up into the white. Don't go down into your eye. You gotta cup it like you're squeezing your honey's bum, like a little little thing right there, right? So as we come down, this is when you can shape it. I'm going to purposely cut it off just to show you that you don't have to go all the way down, right? You come in and you decide where the little bit of land is just by coming in and cutting it off, just like that, adding our darkness, right? You don't have to go all the way down. If your one brush stroke was a little bit too long, just cut right through that sucker, man. Just cut him off like we were in traffic. Mashing all this kind of color onto the canvas. Now, you get more of that darkness, right? Because this is a big old painting over here. Smash it down to Chinatown. We don't want to cover every single thing, right? Look at all this shadow as the darkness of the wave casts a shadow back beyond our sand, and you can't see much back there. It's just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Somehow, Cosmic Lighthouse always knows when I'm going to paint a really cool one. And she always snaps it up during the show. Which I always say, you guys got to be fast. If you want to get one, you got to be quick. Because there are people out there that will buy them before they're even done. They have so much faith in me that they will purchase it before it's even finished. So we're going to take our liquid white, which is the same stuff we sprayed into the stars. We're going to put that right down here into our titanium white pile and just start to mix it back and forth. All we're doing is making that titanium white a little bit runnier, messier, sloppier. Right? Now we're going to come back over here on top of our shadows this time, start our little tremble, and as soon as we touch, pop, 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 you got to move. And as soon as you come up above the tip top of your wave, you only need one little, boop, there we go, one little piece over the top of the wave, and then you're going to start to come down, just like that, right? All this watery action coming over. Boom. That was a little bit crazy, but I fixed it. We're all good. Come down like that. Just start smacking the top of the shadows, right? Not trying to cover. Our shadows have come down to here. We don't want to cover all of that. What are we leaving in between, though, guys? What do we leave in between? You guys got to tell me. Because I'm always wondering what happens down here, right? We would never leave it looking just like this. So what's all those little bits in between all of our little pieces of brightness? What do we leave in there? That's what I want to know. Who's been paying attention in class is what I want to know. Who has been paying attention? Let's see. Our 1-inch brush. Who do we got back here? Dark separator. There it was. Just say something. Just say Janet. There you go, Just Say Janet. Everybody go follow Just Say Janet. Because she knows the dark separator, right? Talked about this dark separator all over the place. So even in our whitest bit, gotta have dark separation. Now we're gonna take our brush just like that, and with this liquid white, we're gonna start to make little clouds out of it by making our little counterclockwise circles is all we're doing. Just being very light pressure, very light. The more pressure you put down, the more it's instantly gonna change into that darker color. All right, let's say we come up here, just a little bit. Little things start coming down, right? And that's round 1. You always go back for round 2 afterwards. Same thing, a little bit more liquid white. Back into our titanium white. And come back, start our little tremble. Pop them in. Now we're going to leave a few less things. All right, we're not going to hit it so much. We're going to leave a few less bits of white. And then we're not going to touch it as much either. We're going to go over it less. So, less pressure, same brush. That way, a little bit less pressure. Sometimes you don't even get them all, right? Don't even touch every bit. Those are the cool ones. That little bit, just so you get brighter areas, darker areas, here, there, and everywhere. And boom, come down like that. That looks freaking wicked. Now, last step of the process is the most fun. This is why we save this bit until the very end. Because the last step, we get to throw paint at it. And that's just the most fun to me. So we're going to take that liquid white, again, out here onto the edge, loading it up into the brush, and then we're going to go off the side of the palette, just like this. Pop in a billion, trillion little spray bits of water that come flying off of your painting like that, right? It'll take you ages and ages and ages to paint all of those things, and it adds so much depth and detail just having those little sprays in there. It's fantastic. Fantastic, you guys. You get it above your wave, on the sides, spraying out of the inside, spraying out of the tunnel. It's just wicked. Seriously. Seriously wicked. So, this one turned out fantastic, obviously, as Cosmic Lighthouse knew it would. That's why she picked this one up. I'm going to come in here and tap just a couple little bits of our titanium white just to make it look like the water is starting to get a little edgy, or it's going to start to fall over like that, right? Back in there, a few more little highlight details back in here, just because we got them on the brush. Bing, bang, boom. Bing, bang, boom, you guys. That's a cool one. That looks really neat. Looks really neat. We're going to come down here, brightening this up, pulling at those different angles, right? When we're over here, we're pulling at a different angle. When we're back here, we're pulling more down before we go over. You know what I mean? All those little differences in angle and the water lines are all dependent on how you pull your brush. They can change in an instant if you pull your brush the wrong way. Just like that. Man, that's a cool one, dude. I was hoping I was going to save this one and take it to the gallery and hang it up for my August, featured artist gallery show. But Cosmic Lighthouse nabbed it up, and that's what you can do over here at the Paint with Josh show. You can get whatever you want as long as you get it first. Very neat. Very neat, you guys. Oh, I like that. Okay, now we got to start coming up with a name for it, because Cosmic Lighthouse, she's pretty good at naming paintings because she's bought like 20 of them, but she might need help naming this one. So start typing the names in the comments, and maybe she sees the name that you suggested, and she chooses that name for her painting. Because if you didn't know, whoever buys the painting gets to choose the name. That's how we do it around here at Paint with Josh. So if you ever just have the most perfect name for the painting that we're doing on that day, and you really want to have it named something like that, you gotta buy it. And if you're the first person to buy it, you get to name it. So that's how we do it around here. Let's finish washing these brushes, give you guys some time to oogle at it and tell me that there's no bird family and it's not signed yet and this, that, and the other. I know. I know it all. I know it all. All right, let's see. I'm gonna come over here, shake that old guy off like that. Seems like every time we do a purple Aurora or anything purple with a Seascape or anything, the thing always sells every single time. Every time. So why not keep doing it, right? That's my thought. Why not keep doing it? Here we go. Let's scrape up all these little things, just like that. Get it clear for the next painting. I don't know if we'll come back and go live again tonight, or what. All you guys on YouTube, you might not know, and all you guys on TikTok, you might not know, I'm filming on YouTube as well, so you can go rewatch this. Cosmic Lighthouse can go rewatch this 100 million times and watch her painting come to life right in front of her eyes. And if you're watching on YouTube, I stream on TikTok every single night. Right, guys, on TikTok? Geez, I'm here all the time. So we stream on TikTok all the time. If you can't see me, I'm probably on TikTok. If I'm not on YouTube and I'm not on Facebook, guaranteed I'm on TikTok. Doing something crazy like this, showing you guys for free how to paint every single night of the week. Literally. Except for Wednesday. Wednesday is my dark day where I don't do anything. That's what they say in the entertainment industry in Las Vegas. They're like, oh, their shows daily dark on Wednesdays. That means the theater's dark, all the lights are off. They're not performing that day, right? So my studio lights go off on Wednesday. I'm like, okay, I'm done. This is my one night. I get to relax. And that's when DC comes over, mostly on Wednesdays. And then we talk about business stuff and what's upcoming and what I got to do and this, that, and the other. So it's not even a night off. Not even a night off. Okay, let's see what we got for names, guys. See what we got for names over here. Apple soup. Let's see. Good morning, Dre. What's happening? Behind True Beauty, Celestial Peaks. I like that. How can you watch the full video? You go over to my YouTube page. As soon as we're done with this stream, it'll take a few minutes to process, and then it'll be over there on my YouTube channel. Oh, says the king. Jeez Louise. United States, Aurora, America. I like that. Celestial Peaks, says Airy Fairy Faye. Celestial Peaks. What do we think, Cosmic Lighthouse? What are we looking for a name? This one just turned out fire-tastic. My goodness. Sea of Everest. I like that one too. Cotton Candy Seamount. Oh, it's from Miss Airy Fairy Faye. Okay, so from the other sister. Why pin it again? What did it say? Celestial. Shoot, I missed it. Where's Airy Fairy Faye? Drop that comment again, girl. Where are you at? Where are you at? Mystic Mountains, I like that. That's cool. Beauty Night, Magical Mountains, I dig it, I dig it. Celestial Peaks. Celestial Peaks from Airy, the fairiest of the fays. The fairiest of Airy, very fays. Celestial. It's only because I think she knows I can't spell celestial. There's a CH in there, right? Celestial. No, I'm just kidding. It's an awesome title. Excellent. Okay, let's spin it around. Now, this one is a fantastic Series 3 canvas, right? The really expensive ones that are very thick, like gallery wrapped. They're awesome. There we go. Like that number 863. That's a lot of paintings, guys. Now, here we go. Celestial, so Celestchal, right? Celestial. Yeah, we got it. I've been messing around so much, now I actually forgot what she said. Celestial tides? Does it say tides? Was it tides, guys? I think it was tides. I've been messing around so much, I forgot now. Peaks? It's peaks? Oh, I would have really messed it up. Celestial peaks. All right. Celestial peaks. Go. So, man, I can't even speak today. It is the 14th of July on 2023, and we're all going to go to paintwithjosh.com. So many people are going to go to paintwithjosh.com right now that it's going to crash my site. That's how many people I want to go to paintwithjosh.com. Go crash the site. It's so awesome over there. You can find my YouTube page. You can find my Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Etsy store and Wishlist and Amazon supply store. Everything is over there on paintwithjosh.com. So head over to paintwithjosh.com, and then you can go anywhere from there. Find all my pages. Find the store. Find anywhere you want to go to. Right from paintwithjosh.com. It's fantastic. So this one turned out amazing. You got one little spray bit back there that I don't like. No, finger painting. Gone. So, turned out fantastic. Awesome title from Airy Fairy Faye. Make sure everyone follows Airy Fairy Faye. She's one of the sister wives of the Traveling Paint Hood, where all of the girls that mod for me, they're all awesome, and they watch all the time, and they're super, and I love every one of them. So, you guys are fantastic. Thank you, all the mods, all the mod ships, and all the people that have ever modded for me in the past. Thank you. Anybody who currently mods for me or will future mod for me, thank you in advance. So, besides that, this one turned out great. Let's get the. We're gonna say goodbye to YouTube, because YouTube, you don't need to sit here and hang out, right? You guys have already seen it. It's done. Now you want to go learn how to paint it. So come back. Use the link anytime you want to learn how to paint this sucker. Get your 4 colors out with all the tools. Find them on paintwithjosh.com. And until I see you guys again next time, take care. Have the rest of a good day, and ba-bow with the YouTube link. Ba-boom.